Iannielli, and I'm a transgender girl, and I go by T-Girl Angel. That's my moniker, T-Girl Angel. Um, I've been quite sad these last couple of weeks. Actually, I was happy because my son was home, so we got to go out and do a lot of things. But as far as the news in the transgender community, I've been sad about reading the stories about the poor girl Leila Alcorn, who tragically committed suicide because her family didn't accept her. I think that we live in a world where if you're different and you don't quite fit in, people are going to make fun of you, tease you, and it's very intimidating. It's not fair, but I think that you have to try to find it within yourself to be strong and to not let people get the best of you. If you do, you're gonna have all sorts of emotional struggles and problems. I know for me personally, I was always very sheltered and extremely shy. I knew that being transgender, when I finally came to realize what I was, that it wasn't going to be an easy thing to deal with. I knew that something eventually would have to give, and I really kept all the pain and the inner struggle and my internal feelings to myself. I was much too afraid to come out and to talk to anyone, especially my parents. And I just feel that we are individuals and we all have our differences, and we should never feel ashamed for that. There's no reason to. After all, when you think about it, you have to be happy with who you are, and if you express yourself in a different way from what is expected of you, and people criticize you and make fun of you, it's not, or should not ever be condoned. You should have every right to stand up and be who you are. You're just trying to figure it all out just like everybody else. And if you were born a boy but identify as a girl, you should be able to live the way you feel. There's no reason to live your life miserable. I know in my situation, I really had to hide my feelings and keep them buried inside, and it was very painful, very difficult. I couldn't talk to anyone, I couldn't talk to my family, and I just tried to deal with it all on my own, and eventually it became so much of a burden that I didn't want to deal with it anymore. And I would have bouts with severe depression. I would try to get rid of all my clothes to try to stop my dressing, cross-dressing, I would bury myself in my schoolwork. I would get involved in sporting activities. I really tried everything I could to stop my inner feelings that I had. And I don't understand why people are so mean to others who are different. We all should accept and embrace people for who they are. We're all individuals. We all are here to live and try to enjoy our lives. We're not here forever. So the situation for many transgender individuals is that they know that they feel different between their body and their perceived gender, and they want at least to start the process to transition so they can achieve inner happiness. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think society should judge people that are transgender in a harsh way. I think it's about time that we start to recognize the rights of transgender people. We've suffered for way too long. There's so many tragic stories of transgender individuals who've committed suicide. The most recent one that comes to mind is Leila Alcorn, 17-year-old girl, transgender girl. Very tragic, and I question why her parents couldn't tolerate and accept her. It's so sad, but all I know is when I was growing up, I had a lot of pain, and I didn't know how to tell anyone. I tried my best to make the best of my situation. I tried to just live the way I was supposed to. I wanted to prove to people that I was worthy. I was seeking affection. I was a very shy and introverted person, and I found it extremely painful and difficult to talk to girls. I admired them, I was very attracted to them, but I was scared. And I also felt inside that I wanted to be around them because they made me feel good about myself. And I completely identified as one of them, but I wasn't able to do much about it. So I just fantasized, and I would at night wear one of my sister's dresses, which I felt very comfortable in, so I decided it would be mine. And I was hiding the pain. I was trying to accept myself, and also questioning why I was feeling these feelings, not really understanding why, and not having anyone to share it with. And when you're a little kid, it's a very traumatic experience, and I feel that I missed out, but you know, I was fortunate over time to mature, and I lived a life of achievement, and I wanted to prove to my family, my parents, that I could go out and take care of myself. I was a very shy kid, though, and I wasn't nearly as independent as I had hoped. But once I went to college, I started to realize, this is the time I need to be serious, because I have to find opportunities after school ends, and I am moving on. So I had to kind of focus on what was most important, and given that I was in college and studying, the first thing obviously was to find a job that would satisfy me and provide me good experience in my career. So all of the internal struggle and feelings that I had got pushed aside, and I tried not to tap those feelings. I wanted to just make my life as normal as it could be and pretend, even though that wasn't the real me. And I wasn't sure how to convey that to others, but somehow I managed to pull it off, and I was able to blend in, and nobody questioned my gender identity. Nobody thought I was a female or feminine. They all respected me. I was tiny. My stature is 5'5", and I just wanted to prove myself. I wanted to believe in myself for once. I wanted to get away from my negative thoughts that held me back for so long. And I had wished at some point in my life that I would address my transgender struggle, but things got in the way. And initially I tried to transition in my late 20s, shortly after my mom passed away. I was still at home with my dad, so I was still afraid, and I had to dress secretly, of course. My two sisters had already left the house, so it was just my dad and I. And my dad was battling many struggles. He was dealing with depression and his job insecurities and alcoholism. So mixing those three was very dangerous, and he wound up in hospitals and clinics, and all I remember was it was a very sad time in our life, knowing that our mom had just passed, and that my dad was all upset and hurting and dealing with his sorrows and trying to escape them as best he could. And I always tried to reach out to my dad, but he was very quiet, and he was a good man, good father, a good role model, good husband, but he had a very difficult time expressing his feelings, and he was not good at just he would rather be home and do his models and his artwork. He was very content with that, so we didn't really go out and do things. My relationship with my son is different because the kind of things I like to do are more computer oriented, and my son has his own computer, so we are, you know, in the same room, but we're working on different systems, so we don't have that interaction of father to son. So what we do is we try to go to the movies whenever there's a good movie playing that's suitable for my son. Then we go out for pizza or whatever food he likes at the time. And it's healthy, it's a nice bonding, and I still go out as a girl, dressed, and my son is okay with it. It was hard in the beginning, it was hard for both him and myself, but once he sensed that I was much happier, he was able to accept me, and he realized that I'm the same person, even though I'm dressing and looking a little different. I'm still the same person that he knows, and I'm still his dad, and I told him I will always be your dad, and that is how you should approach me. So I don't want him to feel uncomfortable, so I let him say it, and it's fine in public. It doesn't bother me if people are around when he calls me dad, even if I'm wearing a dress, because, you know, I don't care what others think. I've struggled all my life caring about what others think, and it got me very sick. So I just have to take that approach, and I'm not being mean when I say it, but I don't like the fact that there are many mean people out there, and I am upset when I hear stories of prejudice for Leela Alcorn, who tragically died, as I mentioned earlier, by suicide. And there are terrible posts on her page just that she did that suicide note, and they're just very insensitive, very mean-spirited, and hateful. And all this girl ever wanted, this transgender girl, was to be happy and to find her way. And that's all we want in life, is to find our happiness and our joy and find our way. And there should be nobody to steal that from us. We have every right to live that way and be the person that we know we are inside. And it doesn't matter if you were born a boy. If you identify as a girl and you want to live and transition to be a girl, then you should have every right to. And it shouldn't be an issue. They should allow it. Your employer or your school where you go, or whoever you deal with, they should be understanding and accepting. And also must realize that transgender is a medical situation, and it's all written about, and it's been researched by many doctors in the field, and it's something that not many people are aware of, or they just are ignorant. But there are quite a few transgender people out there who struggle every day, and it's not fair. They should be given dignity and respect, and we should stop this nonsense with the discrimination and the hostility that doesn't get you anywhere. You have to be kind, caring, and compassionate. And if you do exhibit these qualities when you're dealing with people who may or may not have differences, you will find that your life is more richer and fulfilling, and that your friends will grow in leaps and bounds. Nobody likes a hypocrite. Nobody likes to be taunted at by painful words. Everybody has a right to live and be free, and also to express themselves and not be afraid to. You should always look towards a more mature person that you can speak to and not be afraid. And I'm sure that within the transgender community you will find many people that can help you. You have to have faith and confidence, and please never feel you need to do something drastic. You have a beautiful life. You should live it and share it with the world. Transgender people are very special, and we are lucky that we get to experience life on two sides of the fence, both male and female, and I prefer to live as female, though I have had very joyful moments in my male life. The wedding with my wife is one of them, and the joy of seeing my wife give birth to our baby boy, our son, was also up there as number 2, and just finding a way to help him grow and develop and nurture him. We did have struggles with his autism, so not everything was perfect, but we wanted to do the best we could. And I always look back to my parents and what they did to help me, and I was very fortunate, and I certainly wanted to pass that along to my son. He's an only child, unfortunately, whereas I was a member of 3, where I was the only boy and my 2 sisters. But the reality is, I'm really a girl, and that's something I can't change. I can't change what my inner feelings are as much as I wish I could. It just doesn't add up, and I'm okay with that. It took me a long time, and being in therapy and spending a lot of money, and it was just my time to finally go to an office where a doctor could evaluate me, and a therapist and a psychiatrist could look into my thinking process. So overall, I've come a long way. I still have a long way to go, and I'm trying to take one day at a time and just live and be there for my family, my son, and just enjoy life and try to make the best of it. And if gender surgery is something that I desire, which I do at this time, I hope that it will work out, that I'll be pleased with the after effects of the surgery, and if that goes successful, then I should be able to have full functionality of my transitioned body will have, and I think that would be a good thing. I'd be very excited, and all I know is I've waited all my life to get this far, and I'm not going to go and abandon my ideals and the feelings I have held so firmly within my heart. It's about time I take action and take care of myself, because if I don't take care of myself and find my own inner happiness, then I won't be a good father to my son. Everything would be pretentious, and that's not the way I live my life. I have values and morals, and I also want my son to know that we should always strive for happiness, and it doesn't matter how rich or poor you are. Obviously, the richer you are, though, the less you have to worry about money issues. So in a way, it's nice to be rich. But people are people, whether they're rich or poor, and all they ever want in life is to find their true happiness and be able to make a living so they can share their life with somebody that means something to them. The fact that I have a son who's autistic and I'm transgender, I certainly can understand my son for very various reasons, but it is something that I try to deal with in my own way. I was very frustrated and depressed when I learned that my son was born with autism, but now as I see him growing into young manhood, I'm very proud of him, and I wish that I could be the typical dad, but I'm not, unfortunately. But that doesn't make me different. I'm not gonna ask my son to call me anything but dad. That's who I am. I'm his dad, and he should call me that, and there's nothing wrong with it. And I am very lucky to have my son in my life and my wife, and I very much care for them, and I hope that things will turn around, the economy will improve, and that at one point when I'm ready to, I would like to try to send my feelers out there to hopefully find a job employment opportunity as an accountant / CPA. It's been a long time now since I've been out of work for multiple hospitalizations, depression, suicide ideation, and my transgender related issues. So life isn't as peachy keen as you would think, and it's a very sad thing if you experience gender dysphoria, because it's very painful and it's very hard to go on in your life if your very core identity is different from your gender identity. If that's the case, you need to go for therapy and help and talk your feelings to someone who hopefully can help you get on the right track and be there for you as a moral supporter and give you the hope that one day you certainly can achieve your goal and be treated as a woman, even though you're a transgender woman. They won't know for sure. The only way they would is if they requested a certain ID that you may have an old picture of your male self on, so you have to be careful with that. But anyway, I think I spoke as much as I want to today. I hope that my video has some value to it and means something